Hello and welcome to the introduction video of Virtual Job Fair.
I'm Daniel Malagón.
And I am Rene Alfonso, and I will be presenting Virtual Job Fair version 6.0. Our product owners are Fernando Figueredo, Emanuela Stanislaus, Yvette Duarte, and Professor and Mentor Masoud Sayari. The Virtual Job Fair project was started in spring 2013, and the project has continued until version 6.0 of summer 2015. These are some of the students that worked on the project before. There are two main issues that make the hiring process difficult for students and employers. First, it is very expensive for employers to participate in job fairs or recruit students from different universities. Also, they do not have the wide range of selection nor the financial resources to find the perfect candidate for the job. Secondly, many students do not have the means or time to meet with potential employers in person. In addition, most students cannot show their skills, experience, and talent to employers through emails. In addition, most students cannot show their skills, experience, and talent to employers through emails. Consequently, they might lose great job opportunities. Therefore, Virtual Job Fair is designed to solve these issues. The current system limitations as of version 5.0. The system does not support YouTube video resumes. It cannot restore deleted messages, list applied jobs, display active mailbox container. It cannot clone jobs. It cannot display the number of unread messages. There is no job application button. It does not allow multiple admin accounts. It does not allow the addition of cover letters. The guest account is very insecure. There is no LinkedIn login for the profile. And you cannot send messages to multiple recipients. After the admin deletes a user, most of the data related to that user stays on the server and in the database. You cannot see a list of the candidates with their video resumes. You cannot disable users as an admin. You cannot handle expired jobs, exceptions, so it throws an exception and that's it. The messages do not have the correct date and time. When you create an account through Google, it does not create the account correctly. Sometimes when you add skills, it doesn't accept special characters such as C++ or C#. It will not register that skill. You can upload a video into your profile picture, so there's no checking for that. You cannot reply to messages. There are no confirmation messages after changing your password when you try to log in with invalid credentials, nothing like that. This is our Gantt chart for the whole semester. It covers everything that we did from Sprint 0 up to Sprint 5. It has a breakdown of all the hours and all the user stories and how we worked on them. The yellow user stories are Rene Alfonso's work, and the blue ones are Daniel's. The main user stories that we worked on are upload video resume to Virtual Job Fair YouTube channel, restore trash messages to the mailbox, test student features, test employer features, test the admin features. So we wanted to make sure that we collected all the bugs from the system, so we tested all the student features, employer, and the admin features. Create a profile completion graph. View the cover letter as an employer, that meant uploading the cover letter as a student. Create a list of students that applied for a job, that meant you had to allow students to apply for a job. The code that uploaded PDF resumes needed to be upgraded. It had many bugs, so there was a user story for that. Job cloning as an employer, and the restrictions for the guest account. Stability fixes. These are bugs that we fixed. So we enabled messages to be replied to. We fixed a problem with special characters on the skills. so that now you can have F#, C#, C++. Now we can view a list of video resumes of the candidates on the job matching page. Now the admin cannot delete their own account, so that there's at least one admin in the system. The notifications on the home page for the messages are now active and they work. You can now send messages to an employer as an admin. All the job post exceptions are handled. When you change your password, you get a confirmation message. When the admin deletes a user, all the files from that user are deleted. When you try to edit the job description, there were unwanted HTML tags, so now those are deleted. You can send a message to a student through the job matching page now. The bug that when you try to edit your profile and you deleted your email and you clicked save and the email was saved as blank was fixed, and that was only happening on Firefox. Now you can log into your account on LinkedIn and sync it with your profile on our website. And the repeated match notifications that were really annoying, they were constant, they will keep saying the same notification over and over again, were fixed, so it only happens once. Okay, so we fixed 53 bugs and we added 10 new features. In conclusion for this section, and for a brief description of all the features that were added, we have the YouTube subsystem, we have the profile completion graph, we have the cover letter upload, the LinkedIn authentication, the add the admin feature, job cloning and job application. Please see the final document for all the features that were added, as well as a detailed explanation of all the bugs that were fixed. This is the use case for the YouTube video resume upload. The idea is that you have a student, the student will upload a video resume to YouTube, and they will not know that the video is going to YouTube, but we're doing that on the back end. That way we save server space. This is the sequence diagram for that user story. So we have the student clicking on the profile view. They interact with the view. They upload the video resume. The profile controller does logic behind it. It calls the YouTube handler controller for support. The YouTube handler controller connects with the Google API. It does some authentication. It uploads the video to YouTube. And then we save that video's ID on the database, on the video resume model. And the user is able to view the video that they uploaded. This is the use case for applying for a job. And the idea is that you are allowed to apply for a job as a student. So you click on a job posting and you click on the apply button if you like. So this is the sequence diagram. The student applies for a job. The job controller handles the logic for that application. It tweaks some models for the job using the user model. It saves the application and it sends an email confirmation to the employer that a student applied for the job. It generates all the logic behind it so that the student is not able to apply for the same job multiple times. This is a system architecture. We're using MVC, which is Model View Controller, from the G framework. The idea is that MVC is going to separate the views, the controller, and the models, so that when you have to change something in the view, you don't have to tweak the code in the controller or the model. It doesn't matter. So whatever change you make in the model, it stays in the model. Whatever change you make in the controller, it stays in the controller. And whatever change you make in the view, it only affects the view. MVC is an architectural pattern. System decomposition. These are all the subsystems in our current system. So we have the job subsystem, which handles everything related to jobs. We have the user, which handles everything related to profile, the actual users, their category as a user. We have the API subsystem, which handles getting jobs from other sources, such as Monster or Indeed. We have the alternative logins, which handles LinkedIn login, Google login, and guest login. The YouTube subsystem, which allows us to upload videos to YouTube, which is used for video resumes. We have the collaboration tools, which comes from another project that is being done during the semester, and that needs to be imported so that it works within our system. Skills subsystem handles everything related to the skills. The notification subsystem, as the name says, it sends out all the notifications. It keeps track of who has a notification, the model notification, things like that. The solar subsystem handles the searching. It relies on the solar engine, which does a lot of the heavy lifting on the searches, and it makes it really fast by indexing searches. We have the message subsystem, which is our internal messaging system, which allows users to communicate with each other via messages. We have the site subsystem, which handles the navbar, the login, and security. We have the email message subsystem, which sends out emails. It relies on the Gmailer. This is the deployment diagram. As you can see, we have a host. We use Scientific Linux. We have Apache. And we have G running on top of that Apache. And you can see that G has the MVC architectural pattern, view controller model. And the client only interacts through the browser with the views, and that is very important. The models interact with MySQL and with the tables inside MySQL. This is our persistent data diagram, which is in an ERD, and it has all of our tables and how they relate to each other within our system. So for example, we have the user. The user has a connection to the messages, to video resumes, to regular resumes, to cover letters, and things like that. Security and privacy. We had to restrict direct URL access to the system. For example, you could type the URL that you see there, and if you were a student and you type that URL, you could behave as an employer, and that meant they could post jobs, and then that was a problem of security. You could also type the URL for the admin, and you can behave as an admin and cause a lot more trouble for our system. There's also another problem that the admin could delete itself, and you could eventually just have the last admin deleting themselves, and the system will be without an admin. The guest account had a bunch of problems because the guest had very unlimited power. You could just click a button, log in as a guest, and you could start spamming everybody with the messages. So restrictions were put in place so that guest accounts could not message everybody. Expired jobs, you could click on them, it would throw an exception, and you wouldn't even know what happened to the system. So now it handles all those expired jobs, and that increases the security and the privacy of the system. So this is a class diagram for the YouTube video resume upload. We can see here the profile controller, which is in charge of handling the logic of the profile, the user model, the video resume model, and we have the profile view. From there, we also have the YouTube subsystem, which has a facade design pattern, which is called the YouTube handler. And that facade design pattern, what it does is it enables quick access to the YouTube API. So instead of doing multiple calls to the YouTube API, you only call one function in the YouTube handler, and it encapsulates the logic of calling those multiple API calls with just one function call that you do to your YouTube handler. So you don't even care how the YouTube API works. All you have to do is interact with the YouTube handler, and you're set. This is the state diagram for the YouTube video resume upload. It starts as you upload a video, the video gets validated, you connect to YouTube, you upload the video to YouTube, and then the final state is that it stores the video ID. This is the class diagram for applying for a job. The job controller does all the logic for applying, for posting of the job. It relies on 3 key models the application model, the user model, and the job model. It also relies on the email controller, which sends out an email notification after the student has applied for a job. The state diagram for applying for a job. So you start out by applying for a job. Once you're applied, you update the database, you store the data, you notify the employer, and then you render the proper view saying that as a student you just finished applying for a job successfully. The algorithm for upload video resume. First we check the file format to make sure that we have a valid video format that YouTube is going to handle. We authenticate with YouTube, then we upload the video to YouTube. Once that is done, we check if there is a previous video. If there is one, we delete it from YouTube. If not, just update the model of the video resume on our database and we're done. The algorithm for applying for a job, we check if the job has expired. If it hasn't, then we allow application for the student. Student applies, we update the model, then we send out notifications. These are two test cases for YouTube video resumes. The first test case is a sunny day. It basically is all the steps needed to upload a video resume, and it does it in a test. The idea is that the file format is going to be valid and then the video is going to be on a frame on the user profile. The rainy day test case, you try to send an invalid file format, and the expected output is that you get a message saying, hey, this is an invalid file format, please fix it. The student applies for a job, and then on the homepage of that student, the student should be able to see a widget that says that they applied for this job, and it should include that link and the job name. The rainy day will be the job has expired, so the student should get a message saying, oh, this job expired. We created 24 test cases for the admin alone. They cover a broad range of tests and they're all automated. These are the student test cases. We have 33 for a student. They're all automated through Selenium. For the employer, we have 22, and again, they're automated through Selenium ID. These are some of the test cases on Selenium to give you a preview of them. Thank you for listening, and now I'm going to show you a demo. So for a demo of the system, let's log in first as a student. We can see that we have some messages. We can read the notifications. We can read matching job notifications. We can click on one of the messages. We can read the message. We can reply to that message. We can delete the messages. Go back to the home page and notice that we no longer have notifications for those messages. We can take a look at that job notification. We can apply for that job. We can search for all the jobs in the system. We can see all the jobs that we have applied for. We can take a quick look at the profile. You can see the profile completion graph. You can see the image for the profile. You can add skills. You can save those skills. We can link with LinkedIn, Google, FIU. We can upload cover letter, PDF resume, a video resume. We can play our video resume. We can publish it, unpublish it. We can toggle on or off the notifications. We can edit our school information and our experience. Our basic information can also be edited. Now let's take a look at the employer. The employer can post a new job. The employer can clone a job. They can see who applied for a job. That's a notification. You can see again the message notifications. That's the same reply we just did. You see the little picture. That's a new feature. You can see who applied. That's a student. We can send another message through the profile page. We can view the resume of the student really quick. We can view their cover letter. We can view the resume. You can see all the skills. Let's send a message to them. We can also send a message to another student. So let's see, student 7. Send that message. You can use the advanced search. So let's look for a student that knows PHP. You can see a list of all the students that know PHP. One of them is a professor. Again, the same profile. And we can log out. We can also log in as an admin. And the admin has a list of all the students. The admin can edit the students. The admin can activate, deactivate the students. The admin can create a new admin, can create a new student, a new employer, can see web statistics, can manage the skills on the website, can create new skills, can delete job postings, can search by job postings. Can change the APIs for authentication, can import jobs, can change the settings on the site so they can toggle on and off the notifications for everybody. They can send messages to all the users in the system. So here we have a list of all the students, the employers as well. We can also log in as a guest. The guest can browse the whole website. They can read about all the jobs, but they cannot apply for a job. They get this message telling them to register. They cannot send a message. They need to register first. They don't have a profile. They need to register first. But the idea is they get to search the whole system for jobs and whatever job they would like. So that's a search for Java and it works. These are the most wanted skills. You guys can take a look at that. And that is all for the demo.